Yeah, my focus. Are you up? Good, good.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for coming through to the media briefing that is called by the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture. We are going to be talking about the 100 days in office of our minister as well as deputy minister. They are here to update the nation in terms of what they've achieved and done and what they are still planning to do. And all of this they've done within the first 100 days in office. So we're not going to be talking too much. It's really about them giving a report to say what it is that they've done. But before we then call the minister to start, can we have the chairperson of the Market Theatre, Utata Ufil Mulife, to come and just welcome us because this is his home. Utata Ufil Mulife.
Good morning, Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture, the Honorable McKenzie, the Deputy Minister, Acting DG. Good morning to esteemed members of the media, I also want to recognize the Deputy Chair of the Market Theatre, who's here with us, and the executive management of the Market Theatre. It was a bit of a challenge, Minister, to get up here, because this stage is made for young, agile people. And it's like I'm the opposite of both. My welcoming address is in both analog and digital formats. I trust analog because it never lets you down. Honorable Minister, it is my honor to welcome you all to the iconic Market Theatre. Not only iconic, but historic. In the next few years, 2 years to be precise, we'll be celebrating half a century, 50 years of this great institution. A space deeply rooted in South Africa's history and a struggle for freedom. This moment is particularly significant as we mark both the minister's first 100 days in office and the 30th year of our hard-won democracy. The Market Theatre, once a powerful platform for protest theatre during apartheid, continues to hold space for critical dialogue and expression. A fitting venue indeed for today's press briefing. As we reflect on this milestone for the department and for our nation, we are reminded of the essential role that arts and culture play in shaping our society. We are proud, Minister, please be assured, to host this event in a space that stands as a testament to resilience, creativity, and the unyielding spirit of South Africans. Thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to hearing from the Minister as he reflects on the road ahead for our sector and our country. Thank you very much indeed. Please enjoy your brief stay at the Market Theatre, particularly those who are sitting in this esteemed production house for the first time. This is the John Kani Theatre. We've got other theatres in this foundation, but welcome you all. Thank you, Minister. I want you to give a hand. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Tatmulife, for such a warm welcome. I'm going to now call upon our Deputy Minister, Honorable Ms. Peace Mabe, to come and do her report. And then after that, I'm not going to come back. Minister will immediately come after her. Then I will come back after the Minister. DM?
Thank you very much, Program Director Messi Maza, the Honorable Minister, the Acting DG, extinguished guests, all protocol observed. I've seen quite very important people here. If I were to mention and single them out, it will take long. I must first maybe appreciate the GNU for giving birth to Minister McKenzie. I think the sports, arts and culture sector was never ready for a person like him. And Minister, you are appreciated. Of course, you're not money and you won't be loved by everyone, but the mood is positive and it's all right. So the people are quite very happy about your leadership. Please keep up the energy. 100 days feels like 5 years already. So we want you to continue for the next 100 years again, come back and give account of what you have done for the sector. I think that will be welcomed. Thank you very much. The 7th democratic election has ushered in a government of national unity, embodying the electorate's call for cooperation, accountability, and unity. Within this framework, the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, led by Minister Gayton McKenzie and Deputy Minister Peace Mabi, remains committed to creating an enabling environment where sport, arts, and culture sectors thrive in ensuring inclusivity and transformation across all disciplines. During this time, we have focused on uplifting marginalized communities, addressing gender disparities, and ensuring that the sectors of sports, arts, and culture are accessible to all. These accomplishments are a statement to the power of collaboration and the shared vision we hold for a better future for our nation. On sports, one of my first assignments after assuming office was addressing stakeholders at the Cricket South Africa Diversity, Equity and Inclusion in Indaba, where I articulated the government's stance on transformation as a ministry. We view the transformation challenges in cricket as reflective of those across many of South Africa's sporting codes, specifically the critical issues of ensuring equal access for young people. Addressing these imbalances remains at the heart of our broader strategy to create more inclusive and equitable opportunities in sports. The department's achievements in sports were highlighted by South Africa's successful participation in the 2024 Paris Olympics and Paralympics, where our athletes returned home with 6 Olympic and 6 Paralympic medals. This accomplishment is a testament to the strength and resilience of our sporting community. I played an instrumental role in supporting the athletes, delivering messages of encouragement, and overseeing several key engagements during the Paralympic Games. I was honored to be invited to deliver an address at the South African Sports Confederation and Olympic Committee annual general meeting, where I engaged with key stakeholders on the importance of strengthening collaboration and driving further transformation within the sporting community. These engagements reaffirm our ministry's commitment to ensuring that sport is a unifying force in South Africa's national development. In promoting a healthy lifestyle, I actively participated in various events, including the Nelson Mandela Foundation Walk, the 702 Walk, the Silent Walk, to raise awareness for the deaf community. And now recently, the Big Walk, which aligns with the National Development Plan's goals of promoting physical activity and healthy living. These events not only advance public health, but also foster social cohesion by bringing communities together through sport. A key focus for the department has been addressing gender inequality in sport, particularly ensuring equal pay and resource allocation for female athletes. The department is in the final stages of developing a comprehensive women in sport policy framework, which addresses multiple areas of gender disparity, including participation, leadership, governance, and visibility. This policy aims to empower women and girls by breaking down barriers related to gender, race, disability, and geographical location. It is a comprehensive policy framework covering complex and interrelated issues and realities compared to other countries utilized for benchmarking such as Sweden, Ireland, Canada, and Namibia. With the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture as a policy owner, the roles, responsibilities, and key areas of collaboration to achieve meaningful gender transformation outcomes are captured so as to guide a robust agenda for collective action. I've also taken a hands-on approach to supporting women in boxing, an underrepresented yet highly promising sport code. This effort reflects the department's broader goal to uplifting the girl child and young women in sport by investing in their development and ensuring they have the tools needed to succeed. It must be stressed that the department will be launching renovation projects for community sporting facilities across the country for all participants, men and women, boys and girls. This effort aims to provide equal access to equality sports infrastructure, beginning in Limpopo province, where I will be overseeing the handover of upgraded facilities in Muleji and Lephalale. In the arts sector, I have led efforts to create an enabling environment for artists, particularly those in underserved communities. Underserved communities. The ministry has, over the past 100 days, engaged with key industry and key role players and stakeholders to discuss the challenges facing the creative industries and to identify opportunities for growth. One of the key outcomes of these discussions was the recognition that civic and multipurpose community centers can be transformed into hubs for artistic expression and economic activity. By providing artists with these spaces, the department aims to directly contribute to job creation and economic opportunities within the creative sector. On heritage, South Africa is a country rich in cultural and historical significance. The inscription of 2 new World Heritage Sites in July 2024 was a major achievement. The early modern human behavior sites, South Africa's 11th World Heritage Site, offers invaluable insights into the development of symbolic thought, technology, and complex cognitive abilities among early humans. These sites, dating back over 162 years, are not only archaeological treasures, but also a reminder of a shared humanity and ancestral roots. The Nelson Mandela Legacy Sites, inscribed as the Africa's 12th World Heritage Site, these locations commemorate the struggle for freedom and human rights, with a particular focus on the life and contributions of Nelson Mandela. This site is the first to be nominated from the African Liberation Heritage Program, aligning with the African Union's Vision 2063 and reaffirming South Africa's commitment to reconciliation, peace, and human dignity. I believe that I further demonstrated my commitment to preserving South Africa's rich cultural heritage by delivering a keynote address at the Oral History Conference in Ulundi, KwaZulu-Natal, in October. The conference, held under the theme, Forgotten Stories and Marginalized Experiences 30 years later, brought together experts to explore how oral history and digital technology can be harnessed to preserve the country's diverse and often overlooked narratives. In conjunction with this event, I participated in a national symbols and patriotism promotion ceremony at Senzangakhona High School, reinforcing the importance of cultural pride amongst the youth. On public-private partnerships, as the ministry, we have prioritized fostering public-private partnerships to revitalize critical programs with the department and to create opportunities for greater participation in sports, arts and culture and heritage. A prime example of this was my visit to the Inos Mafokati Equestrian Sports Center in Soweto, where we have explored possible upgrades and partnerships to improve the facility. The center has the potential to open new doors for equestrian sports, which have historically lacked representation in South Africa's sporting landscape. Another key initiative that I spearheaded, together with the minister, is the revival of school sports. We have been unwavering in our goal to ensuring that every child in school is engaged in sport, the arts, or cultural activities. This holistic approach is vital to the development of well-rounded young South Africans who will go on to contribute to the nation's growth and unity and provide proof that government of national unity is indeed working well for all citizens. On social cohesion and nation building, as part of the department's mission to promote social cohesion and nation building, I have successfully led the Kufa Festival in the Free State this past weekend. This festival not only celebrated South Africa's cultural diversity, but also contributed to job creation by stimulating local economic activities in areas such as hospitality, small businesses, and cultural tourism. I've also supported several important initiatives that honor South Africa's living legends and promote its rich cultural heritage. This includes the Fantuka Af project, where we paid a courtesy visit to Mama Abigail Kubeka and the Nkalankata Road to 25 Years project, which aims to preserve the legacy of music legend Mandoza. Additionally, I participated in the Mpondo Heritage Festival and the Deep Slot Carnival, both of which underscored the importance of celebrating and preserving the country's cultural heritage. On international engagements, I have in the past 100 days represented South Africa at several high-profile international events. At the International Film Week in Moscow, held in August, I delivered a keynote address focusing on the emergence of South Africa's cultural and creative industries as catalysts for job creation, social cohesion, and innovation. During the 2024 Paris Olympics and Paralympics, I led the South African delegation offering messages of support to the athletes and representing the country on an international stage. In Lusaka, Zambia, I was delegated by the minister to oversee the repatriation of the mortal remains of South African freedom fighters, ensuring they were returned with dignity and respect to be honored on home soil. Thank you very much. With that, I want to invite the minister to come and give his accountability for the past 100 days. Thank you very much, Minister.
I was a very short person here. I always tell people that when I became a minister, one of the things I looked the most forward to was to say, all protocol observed. Because I've heard that word in every government function. And today I want to say all protocol observed because everybody here is very special and very dear to our hearts. Before I start, I know the media has deadlines and some came here to come and hear, so let me get the uncomfortable out of the way before I go into the good work that we've done. You know, I was in the news for spending money going to Paris. Past 2 days I had to answer being called a joyride. Now, I don't understand when there's a sporting event, I first got very angry because they were comparing me to, they said I removed Mama Joy and I replaced myself with her. So I got angry. But then I realized being a government official, you must be transparent. You have taken on something that you can't get angry when people ask you about their money. Because every cent that we are using is belonging to the people. Now, I was annoyed for 10 minutes, but when that realization came, I realized that I must answer, and I'm going to answer very transparently here. And if there's any media person that still feels that I've not adequately answered, please, I will remain behind so that you can go back to the newsroom having all your questions answered. Number one, my first trip as a minister, the first one as a minister, not as a person, as a minister, was to the Olympics. I came a week before the Olympics start. I attended 6 different meetings. I attended a meeting with the Minister of Azerbaijan. I attended a meeting with the African ministers. I've attended a meeting with the Commonwealth ministers. I've attended the opening ceremony. I've also attended a meeting standing in for the Minister of Police where they had all the police there. So I had 6 meetings I had to attend. Now before the opening ceremony, the rugby already started for those that don't know. So I went to go and watch the 7th rugby. Then when the Olympics started, I sat in the rain so that our athletes also can have somebody screaming for them there. And then I realized because I was so excited for this new job I have, I want to learn, I'm going to come back. I'm probably the only minister in the world of sport that was not at the Olympics. Now, where do you get the joyriding from? So I want to make it very clear. I came back, not because I was forced to come back. There was nothing wrong me being there. Now he's going to sporting events. That's my job. Do you want me to go look at cabbages and the agriculture? That is the job of Mr. John Steenhuisen to look at the farms. You can't, that's my job to go to sporting events. Yeah. Especially the biggest showcasing of talent in the sporting world, which is the Olympics. I didn't go to the Paralympics, and that's not an achievement not to go. And I'm still going to go to all the sporting events because that's government. Now you want to portray me as a person that's taking a joyride. That thing you can do with other ministers. You've chosen the wrong one. Because I'm flying first class all the time with my own money. And now I must fly business class. So it's not an upgrade for me, it's a downgrade. Locally, I fly like business class. But as a minister, you must fly economy class. The other day I was flying with my partner. And she said, can't we book you? Because my knees are so long. Because I can't sit now and then I must stand up so that I can. But that's what the ministerial handbook demands of me. It demands of me to fly business class, to fly economy class locally. I fly twice a week and I fly economy class. Internationally, the ministerial handbook demands of me to fly business and not first class. I'm mentioning this so that people can know I've not done anything outside the ministerial handbook. I got there, I saw them saying, Mr. McKenzie, welcome, welcome, jump in the car. Now it's being acted like I'm sitting behind the computer and go to the different airlines, which things, there are people that are hired for those. Now, if you want to play politics, it's fine, but don't play politics only with me. If I have to account, which I'm doing, we expect every minister to also account because this is important to all of you. I've done absolutely nothing wrong. And I'm as transparent as possible. I went there. In fact, when I saw it's 125,000 rands for 5-star hotel, myself and the acting DG, we both said we can't do this. Isn't there a cheaper hotel? I flew, I stayed in a 4-star hotel, which was a bit cheaper because it was during the Olympics, all the prices were up. And you can't compare euros with rands. Our currency is not that strong. And now people want to act like, particularly in the DA, that it's my first time going overseas. 2007, I stayed for a month in Paris to watch the Rugby World Cup. For 1 month. I flew there first class. I stayed in a 7-star hotel for 1 month. Now, because it's no longer my own money and I must follow the rules, if the rule says I must fly economy class, I shall fly economy class. So I wanted to just get that out of the way. All the media that's here, we can still talk about if you have any further questions about the trip. But don't say I went for a joyride. And don't compare me to Mama Joy. I am not a super fan. I'm the Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture. The second issue, which is also in the media at the moment, I just want to get those two out of the way, and then I come to the work I've done. The issue of the Springbok. They say the Springboks are being sold, all those things. I think I just want to bring context because I saw other political parties say I didn't even know about it. I was sleeping on the job. You see, hey, Floyd must come back. What I want to say, 3 months ago, SARU met with me and they presented the deal to me to say, this is what we want to do. We need money. There's no money in SA Rugby. Most rugby unions around the world and federations are experiencing a cash crisis. When I looked at the deal, I said to them, we will meet in 1 week. They came in 1 week. I said to them, there's something I don't agree with on the deal. There's no South Africans in this deal. They said, thank you, Minister. We will come back to you. They then came back and they said, Minister, we have included South Africans now in the deal. The law of FIFA and the International Rugby Federations, you can't interfere in soccer and in rugby. You can do it on a certain level. So I can only urge, but I can't truly, fully instruct, because that might be deemed as interference, and then you get banned. So what they did, they came back, they said they've got South African partners now. I said, all right, if that's the case, it's good. Then we got complaints, my office got complaints from the rugby union presidents. So they were supposed to vote today. I then said, stop that meeting, let us meet again, so everybody can be happy with the deal. So that's where we are with the deal. I didn't see this deal the other day when some political party was giving a statement. I've been working, I've even met the Eckerley company, the company that's buying. I've met the owners, the brothers of that company, the owners. I've met them. I've engaged with them so that I can make sure that South African Springbok rights are not being sold for a song. So I hope I've made that one clear. Enough about that. Let me go to the work that I've done. I must first thank, I've never met the deputy minister. And maybe you don't know it, but I think you know it. There's a lot of tension I've picked up between ministers and deputy ministers. So much so that the president called us in and he says we need to be collegial. We need to be collegial with our deputy ministers. And when I met her for the first time, I tried to Google her, but I didn't see much about her on Google. But when she walked into our first meeting, I knew I'll be fine when she said, "Awe massacre." And I want to say to the deputy minister, thank you so much for who you are to this country, who you are to me. We work truly nicely together. And we have our things we differ on a lot, because she's a very strong woman. And she doesn't let me always get my way. And she would say, no, but I disagree. And for that, I want to say I've also learned so much from her. And I can tell you, without a doubt, in the GNU, I have the best deputy ministers of all the ministers in the GNU. Then I want to thank the president for appointing me as the Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture. People want me to talk bad about a man that has given me this job. I can never do that. 21 years ago, we went looking for a job. I think they got there and they said, no, they can't give me a job. I mean to work at the back of a truck. They didn't want to give me the job because they said I come from jail. And the manager, they said, no, you can't get a job, you come from jail. But the man that saw past my past and say, come here, I will give you this job. I must now fight that man. I'm not mad in my head. I am not fighting. I will never fight the president. I will disagree with him, but I'm not here. I love the GNU. The Patriotic Alliance members are very happy with my inclusion in the GNU. How can I listen to other parties? All right, let me start with the work. The first thing and the most proudest thing I've done since becoming a minister and being part of was when we, together with the Department of Defense and Military Veterans, together with the office staff, I am so fortunate that I've inherited the best staff you can get. Usually you'll just hear people talk a lot of stuff about people, but these people working at DSEC, I can tell you without a doubt, I don't even want to change one of them because they are diligent, they are so happy, I allow them to do their work, and we are working very nicely together. These people is the reason why I've done my proudest thing, which is number one, we have brought back the remains of our heroes. Duma Nokwe, Basil February, Nemamu Posho, Tot Machikitsa, and all of them. They were in exile and they died in exile and they were buried in exile. We managed as a team, not as McKenzie or as Mabe, as a team, interdepartmental. My team, I must say, worked day and night, flew between Zambia. Mr. Ndima and them, they worked to get that. So I want to say that's the first thing and the most proudest thing I've been involved in. The first crisis I got was when we started, which I'm going to talk about later, when we started talking to UFC and F1 and motorsport, FIA, we started just engagements. I got a media inquiry. That was my first crisis, was that, Mr. McKenzie, 12 countries are stuck for the FIBA basketball tournament in South Africa. The under-18 African Basketball Championship is in South Africa, and we are now being told it's being cancelled. I said, no, there's nothing being cancelled. I went back, I called SASCO, I called the Basketball Association, I called everybody to an urgent meeting within an hour after that call. And what I heard in that meeting was the worst news. They applied to host this tournament in South Africa. They didn't have sponsors, they didn't pay the venue, they didn't pay the hotel, didn't pay for the buses, they paid for nothing. When I asked them, what you gonna do? They're like, nothing. We must cancel. I said, excuse me, nothing. It can't be. This will be on South Africa's record. I called the team, I called the ADG, I called the whole team. We then made sure, I called the president of FIBA in Mozambique, myself. Luckily, I have met him at the Olympics. And he said something I'll never forget. He was very angry when I called him, but he cooled off. He says, Noel, I said, please give us a last chance, we'll fix it. He says, I believe you because you're a good man. I said, why do you say I'm a good man? He says, you walked into the room, you walked past a lot of people, but you came straight to me in Paris and you greeted me. What he didn't know was everybody was speaking French. And I look at the black guy in the corner. I thought, that is my guy. And I can tell you, the people literally didn't sleep. And we managed to host the basketball FIBA tournament under 18. And we saved South Africa from headlines. That was my first crisis. The second crisis I experienced was the National School of the Arts was about to close down. They couldn't pay salaries. They ran out of money. I was then told, sometimes people will tell you stuff. They said, Minister, you can't intervene because it doesn't fall under you. I said, this is the GNU. We do things differently. I'm going to intervene. I saw there's arts. The arts is calling my name. I went to the school. I saw they turn around. They have no turnaround strategy. But these people are good people that ran into money. They couldn't even pay the salaries. I immediately, with the powers vested in me as the minister, told the ADG, go through the processes. Let's save the jobs. Let's save the teachers not from leaving. We then gave the school 2 million rands so that they can pay salaries and they can pay water and lights. But when I walked out, I saw the hostels where the girls are staying. I wouldn't even let my dog sleep in those places. I then went back and I said to them, we have to fix the hostels. Because we've got the infrastructure grant. As I'm speaking to you, the hostels are being fixed and the girls are going to play in a proper place. The electricity problem we're also sorting out with the city of Johannesburg. The third crisis I got was, as you can see, I was just dealing with crises. The first, I said, I don't drink alcohol. Kenny, the deputy president of PE says, every time I call you, you've got a crisis. You must just drink whiskey and then relax. So I'm very near getting that whiskey tippy. The third crisis we got was the under-20, the youth championship in Peru. There was no money for the people to go to for the athletes to go to Peru. There was no money. They needed 4 million rands to go to Peru. I tell you, I pick up the phone, I called a few corporates, and SuperSport was the first one that said we will help, and SuperSport helped. I called the ADG said we must help. The deputy minister said, no, we have to help. And we came together with SuperSport and the deputy minister. And I can tell you, true story, 10 minutes before they closed the flight, we paid 10 minutes before they closed the flight. Now, if we didn't pay, let me tell you the repercussions of that. None of them would have gone to Peru. Today, the whole world knows we have the fastest under 20 100-meter athlete, the fastest under 20 200-meter athlete. We got gold medals, we got different medals, all because of the intervention of myself and the deputy minister. So, you know, the president will always speak about job creation. I was told at the office that some people said, Minister, we just come to say bye-bye because next week our contract is finishing. I said, bye-bye, where are you going? No, we're just working on contract. Do you have another job? No, I don't have another job, Minister, but we enjoyed working with you. I called the ADG, I said, how many are they? She said, there are 66. I said, can we meet tonight? I remember, she's like, Minister, it's 9 p.m. I said, yeah, let's meet at 11 p.m. at the office. She said, I'm going to enjoy making this call to the senior management. And when I got there, 11 o'clock, they were there. We sat from 11 until 2 a.m. trying to redirect and reprioritize funds so we can save the job of 66 people, because that's the priority of the GNU. I can stand before you today and say that we have managed to save a year until we get them permanent, but they've got a job until March 2025, but before March 2025, we shall meet again at 11 o'clock to make a plan. So you can't create jobs if you can't save jobs. So we've already saved 66 jobs in our department. Then this one is very hard so. Artists in this country, I want to make it clear, I'm not a minister of condolences. I'm not a minister of funerals. I was told you didn't come to the funeral of Mapaputsi, but they omitted to say, I gave money for the funeral of Mapaputsi. But it can't be. We must be honest about this. It's not easy to say it, but I'm going to say it. We are not here to bury artists. Artists need to live a life so good that they manage that they can bury themselves. It's insulting for a person who didn't have bread, but you put them in a casket of 50,000 rands. It's not right. So we should not fight so that artists should be buried. We should fight for artists to live right. Because of my corporate history, I looked at why is it that our artists are poor? And I found 3 things. Number 1, artists are poor because they get exploited by the record labels. Number 2, artists are poor because the people representing artists can't even account for the money that we give them. Now, if you can't account for the money that we give you, how are you going to account to the people that you represent? If the Mureki, you can't give him the papers he wants. So there's a problem. We then called all of the artists. We realized that artists sometimes are good artists, but they may be, and creatives, they're not good business people. You can't be everything in life. I'm a good business person, but I'm not a good artist. And sometimes they represent themselves in contracts and they get exploited. I then called a group of lawyers of the arts. I said, we are going to pay you as the government. You must look through every new contract every artist is going to sign in this country, so that you must make sure that artists don't get exploited. And artists will not pay for that service. The department will pay for that service. We then called the Boss Barat. In that Boss Barat that we called, we had frank discussions. We built up different sectors. And those sectors, we're going to pay for their officers. We're going to give them board fees. We are going to make sure that the sectors represent the artists. You can't have one person representing writers, filmmakers, crafters, choir music. Every sector should be represented by sectoral people that understand the problem. So we have a Boss Barat, and there are 72 sectors and subsector organizations, which I want to make clear, they will be getting money from us so that they can run and agitate for the better behavior from corporates, from government, and make sure artists get truly represented. And we cannot, as government, say we care about artists, but we don't want to recognize them as workers. I'm busy fighting so that artists, together with Minister Tao, so artists can be known as, they can be recognized as workers. The Copyright Amendment Bill, they want the president to sign it. But I went to go read it. I said, the president must not sign this thing in my mind. And I spoke to them. Because how do you sign something that says, and I speak from experience because I'm a writer. All the books I wrote, I own the copyright to it. If you want to use one sentence there, you're going to pay me. If you want to use a comma, you're going to pay me. And we are in big discussions with one of the biggest movie houses abroad. And we are negotiating on price because they talk to me, because I owe my work. In the Copyright Amendment Bill, there's a line that says free use. You can't have that, fair use. How do you have fair use? You don't go to McDonald's and say a burger is 80 rands, but I've got 40 rands, give me a burger because of fair use. So why must artists' music be used? So once we fix those little things, we will come back and we will sign it. And we will make sure that when you die, you look at Shaka Zulu, Henry Kele, one of the best actors this country's ever produced. Shaka Zulu come from when we were young. Till today, they still play Shaka, but he gets nothing. Artists will be paid to be on a show. I remember there's this show called, there was what do you call it, where they make fun of people. What was it called? No, they make fun where Kenny Kunene was on. It was called The Roast. When they came for the roast to Kenny Kunene, they gave him back and they said, are you mad? Kenny said, this is what I want. They said, we can never pay you that because the other artists, if they see we pay you this much, they will also demand that from us. He says, I'm not going. After a year, they came back to him. They're like, all right, I'm paying you this amount. He says, no, a year passed. I must put more. And they paid him the money. So I just want to say that's what we want to do. And then, today I want to tell you, I want to thank the SABC and SuperSport, multi-choice. I want to thank them openly. Because the most important rugby game, I went to them. We fought. I think they were very irritated with me. I fought so that every South African can watch that rugby game. But I didn't only fight. I learned from SABC. I learned from SuperSport. I learned from them. And what I learned from them is that it is our responsibility of government to make sure that our people get to watch these games. We can't put it on them. We must put it on us. So what I've done, they were telling me all those things. I said, yeah, we will talk. Let's just show this one on Saturday, and I'll go back. And today I want us to give SABC and SuperSport a hand, because SuperSport graciously said, let South Africa watch the game. And we did watch the game. And I can assure you that we are doing our work in cabinet to make sure we make sport accessible. And we pay what companies demand for their product. So that is something that is ongoing. I also want to say, you know, for me, I'm going to make you one example while I talk about SuperSport. We've got something big, and you must encourage people to apply. We've joined forces with SuperSport, Athletics South Africa, South African School Athletics, and Department of Basic Education in launching the Track Plus Field School Athletics Series, starting in January next year. The School Athletics Series is open to all high schools throughout the country. The objective will be to crown the top athletics high schools in the country. Both boys and girls at under 15, 16, and 17 levels will participate. We want to go and find our athletes. And we have now joined forces with a corporate company that will help us. So the children must now get re-enter sports. And it's not just talk. We have signed an agreement with the Department of Basic Education sport, arts and culture must get back to our school. Most of us here that's over the age of 40. Don't need to put up your hand. Most of us here, you have had school sport. I was a top athlete myself, believe it or not. And I was discovered at the school. So we've got the DSTV School Netball Challenge. We've got all these exciting things to get our children away from the street. I always say a kid in sport is a kid out of court. That is our motto. You know, that's going to be the Let's Play Centers of Excellence. We are back. We're going to change the face of sport in this country. But we want to start with the children. That's why we have the MOU. In our department, we've put together 69 million, which is going to buy equipment for rural school children, for poor schools. It can't be that it's only the private schools that has all the sporting equipment. None of the black people sitting here, or the colored people, or the Indian people for that matter, had pole vaulting at his school. None of you. But pole vaulting is an Olympic sport. There's a new Olympic sport called wall climbing. I see the private schools now have wall climbing. Our children in the less fortunate schools don't have that. It's my job as the Minister of Sport not to complain, but to make sure, I make sure that what is in the private schools is in the schools of our children that is not so privileged. And we should not bemoan the fact that the private schools have it. We must learn from them. And we must emulate what they are doing. So much in South Africa, people like to criticize people that they should learn from. As the minister, Walaza got a silver medal at Olympics. He got 2 gold medals because Kuro was looking after his career. We need to go to Kuro and say, what you did was Walaza. Do it for the child in Mitchell's Plain, for the child in Guguletu, for the child in Protea Glen. That's what we want to do. So the MOU will never gather dust. Under my leadership, we are going to bring expression to what we've agreed upon. And if you don't believe me, the ambassador of France, I want to quote him, so he can say, no, I'm not telling the truth. When I was a minister, he sent me a text message. He's like, Minister, we've been trying to sign the MOU. Minister, can you help? I said, can we meet tomorrow morning and sign? He says, oh, I'm out of the country. I said, so you are the problem. And after a month, after changing some new things I changed there, we signed. And he stood up at a press conference. He said, I must tell you, this ministry is the fastest ministry I've ever worked with. These are action men. I said, didn't hear you, repeat that again. So that is what we're going to do with the same thing. Then, you know, government, we must listen to people. And the GNU is that type of a government. I was at Fame Week, I met 3 little girls. They were, my protectors told me, you have to leave, it's becoming too dangerous. Everybody's grabbing me and want a picture. And when they were pulling me out, this girl is pulling my jacket. And I'm like thinking, I'm not going to leave you. I said, how can I help you? She's like, 30 seconds. And I said, let him come, let him come. The 3 ladies came. They spoke, all 3 of them spoke at one time. And all I could hear is that our movie house in Kalicha is closed because we don't have a screen that's working. We don't have proper speakers. Our computers are old. I said, I will be there within a week. When I turned around and said, why? We'll never see him again. And they saw me. And I went to go look at the screen. It wasn't working properly. I went to look at the speakers. I went to the library. When I saw the computers, I realized those were the computers that we used to steal before I went to jail. That's how old those computers were. I can tell you today, myself and the deputy minister, on Monday first, on Monday, we took them the money. They are putting a new screen, new speakers, and new computers in that school. 10 students in Mitchell's Plain got bursaries to study music. After studying music, those 10 kids, you can change? She's coming here. You see, I learned quick in government, they change. I never knew that on TV. So I'm thinking these people, the esteemed people, when they go to the gym, they must do this training because the whole time. So, the Mitchell's Plain, these people got bursaries. And when they graduated, they went back to the townships in Mitchell's Plain and Kalicha and Delft. And they started to teach other kids music. They will go from suburb, from flats to flats to flats to flats to flats, getting people music, teaching people how to play music. And they will do one. Can I get tissue, please? And they will do one instrument. And children will be away from the gangs to go and teach music. It gives me great joy that when they met me, I made sure that we speak to Betway and the department, and we said we'll match them rent for rent what they gave. They gave equipment for 1 million rand, and the department put another 1 million rand for equipment. Thank you. For equipment for the kids. Now they can teach 400 students and keep them away from crime so they can teach music. When I became the minister, I saw the list of people going to Venezuela. I said, where are the disabled people on this list? I cut the officials. I said, let's replace them with disabled, and let's have all the races here. You can't just have black people going. This country is not only black people, it's all of us. And I changed that and I removed some officials. And they went to the Venezuela fair. And the people of Venezuela came to myself and the minister, deputy minister, and they said South Africa was one of the best participants in the Venezuela book fair. So much so that the Cuban government is inviting us to be the main guest next year at the Cuban Book Festival. And it's going to be transparent. We are going to have everybody that wants to go with the government to Cuba. They must apply. So we do things a bit differently and more transparently. I have shown people that you have nothing to hide. So very soon, look out for the authors that want to go and showcase in Cuba. The government will pay for this. Thank you very much. We have seen boxing. You know, the first black man to earn 100,000 in sport was Peter Matebula. Peter Matebula was the first black man to earn 100,000 in sport, prize money, which he had to share with the coaches. But Peter Matebula, 40 years after Peter Matebula, boxers are earning 4,000 rands a month, a fight. 4,000 rands to get brain damage. But when you look at the officials, there's officials that fly twice a week, renting expensive cars, running up phone bills of 120,000. That we said is not going to happen. So we've appointed the acting CEO, Tsulufelo Lizaka, from my office to oversee. We have stopped all this legal. They are not in the business of boxing. The boxing SA was in the business of legal issues. They stay in court. They have lawyers on retainer. I've stopped all the legal matters. We've settled the legal matters. We are now putting boxing back to where it belongs. The advert is out. You can also apply if you have boxing expertise, and you can add to the board. It is now being advertised. Knowing how to fight is not the only requirement. You must be able to have. This one is very personal to me. I grew up with spinning. I saw what spinning does. There's no gangsters in that sport. There's no drug users in that sport because every cent they have, they buy oil, screws, seats, tires. Tires are expensive for us spinners. And I can tell you, when I went to prison And I came out, spinning was still at the same place, unrecognized, being called a gangster sport. People that don't do spinning don't see the value of it. So much so when I became the minister, the first priority for me was spinning. And they thought, the white people thought I'm talking about spinning top in the gym, the things they do there. And some of the super coloreds were laughing at me. Like, why is he doing this gangster sport? I can tell you spinning, I've been to an empty rugby game, empty soccer game, empty cricket game. I've never been to empty spinning. And I said, this will be my priority. I first had to teach my staff, from the ADG through to everyone, about spinning. And I remember the deputy minister said she's got a gusheshe. I'm still waiting to see that gusheshe. and I worked very hard to formalize spinning. Spinning, I met with Motorsport South Africa. They came with their problems to me, and I said, before I listen to your problems, fix my problem. You must legalize spinning. And they assured me they will do that. I went to meet with the president of the FIA, the highest decision-making person when it comes to anything with an engine, from F1 to GP to spinning, everything. He didn't even know what spinning was. He asked me send me 2 or 3 videos. I sent him 35 videos. I think he might have blocked me after that. And I'm very proud today to say spinning is going professional. Spinners will get a salary. And the federation is even now getting sponsorship. They are going to buy cars for the children that parents can't afford, the gusheshes. So DM, you better come clean very quickly. If you have a gusheshe, if you don't, you must also apply for a vehicle to spin there. And I want to thank CLC, which became the first headline sponsor for spinning, and Kappa, which will now make sure that they are fully kitted in Kappa. So they'll treat them like they treated the Kaizer Chiefs, that team that I'm accused of supporting, which I don't. And then we had the DSTV Delicious Festival. I didn't even know what that was, but I went because the food was very delicious there. The DSTV Delicious Festival, where we honored the Miriam Makebas, the Brenda Fassis, the Yuma Sikelas, and we are forming a partnership with DSTV for the Delicious Festival. So those are the things that we've been busy with. And I'm very proud to announce the World Rally Raid Championship. For the first time, it's coming to Sun City. And I want to thank Motorsport South Africa. You guys have worked so hard. You fought very hard that South Africa is now, and it's only the beginning. F1 will still be coming. I'll talk about it shortly. But already we got one because we went to Baku. We were fighting with the president. I said to him, but you don't bring stuff to South Africa. And I said to Motorsport, go and fight. And we were on the phone with them the whole time during the vote. Denise had to switch off her phone like, they have not even started to vote, Minister. And when they voted, she called and she said, we've got it. And I want to say to you, this event is going to be the biggest motorsport event that we've had in this country. And I said to Motorsport, I have one problem which we are working on because government is also going to contribute. I said, before I contribute 1 cent, I would like to see black women also being part of it. I would like to see white women also being part of it. I don't want the sport to be an all-male, only male, even in the business fraternity. We must respect our women. They are sometimes better business people than we are. So our money will go to women in South Africa that will be part of that pie, of the advantages that will be received from hosting the World Rally Raid Championship. And if you can just see a video, then for those of us that don't know.
In the heart of the African wilderness, where the untamed beauty of nature meets the raw power of machinery, an epic challenge awaits. The South African Safari Rally, May 2025. For the first time, the prestigious World Rally Raid Championship comes to Southern Africa. From the iconic Sun City Resort, teams will take on a journey like no other. 5 stages over 5 days of pure adrenaline. Starting on the 18th of May and finishing on the 24th of May. It begins with a prologue in the shadow of Sun City, then dives deep into the wild, where nature itself becomes the ultimate challenge. The teams will battle through the stunning yet unforgiving landscapes of South Africa's Limpopo and Northwest provinces. Varied terrain ranging from open bushveld to river crossings and mountain ranges will test man and machine to their limits. The race will reach its climax on the 24th of May with a high adrenaline power stage designed for the ultimate display of skill and tenacity. This is not just a race, it's an adventure across one of the world's most awe-inspiring landscapes, with Africa's majestic Big Five as spectators and its rugged terrain as the ultimate test. This is the 2025 World Rally Raid Championship. This is Africa.
Now, those are the nice things we are bringing to South Africa. South Africa is going to have nice things, and I want to jump to UFC. Don't follow the media that has not spoken to me. Follow the ones that are here today because they know from the horse's mouth what is happening. Not the ones that get B information. UFC. End of this month, we are meeting with Dana White. You know, when I saw that ground transport, it was very steep. I said to the person in the department, I said, you better get an international license because we'll have to take Ubers when we get to Abu Dhabi this month. We are going to meet with UFC to make sure that Driekus' fight come to South Africa. Just as we met with FIA and Motorsport to make sure this is coming, it is here. So the UFC, we are meeting. So there's no thing to say it is not coming. We are going to negotiate. We've been talking to them for 3 months. They've been asking us 1 million questions. They've asked SuperSport 1 million questions. And we are going to make sure that Driekus du Plessis, our champion, must fight here at home. And I will come back, hopefully with good news. And hopefully also not being asked so many questions about my trip to Abu Dhabi. Then the F1. This is how far we are with the F1. South Africa has been to the altar twice and didn't get married. They go to F1, we want to host it. F1 is listening to them, then it falls flat. Because politicians, billionaires in this country, they started fighting, and I now became the minister. So I told the billionaires, back off. You are not the only billionaires in the world. I told the politicians, back off. I am the Minister of Sport. Let me talk with F1. I met the leadership of F1. I met the president of the FIA. I told them we would like to host the F1. They said they need certain letters within the next 30 days. Within 8 hours after my meeting with them, they received the letters that they asked me to give them within 30 days. They called me back to say, we've never seen this. We got what we needed from you within 8 hours. I said, sorry, within 10 hours. I said, no, sorry, it was 8 hours. So I want to thank my staff for getting all of that ready. What is happening now, we are meeting at the end of November. End of November, they're going to give us a list, and we need to pay certain things. There are 2 banks in South Africa that wants to get involved. There are companies that want to get involved. So the issue is not money. But where I am sitting, I look at the 2026, but more 2027 calendar. We are not the only country wanting it. Morocco wants it, Rwanda wants it, but they're very hilly, and they don't have a track yet. And big announcements are going to be made about our track very soon. So that's also coming. Then we are starting a very exciting thing. The last three things is Project 300. It cannot be, this is the example I always make people with my son. My son went to run, and the principal came to me when he was 10 years old. He said, Mr. McKenzie, you do know that your son is probably one of the fastest 10-year-olds in the country. I said, it can't be. He says, I'm telling you. When he was 11, he says, can you see? We timed him. I said, no, let me get him a coach. Start spending money on him, buy him treadmills, get everything. At the age of 12, we were at my family in Johannesburg. And they started running with other kids in the street. An 11-year-old child, my son was 12, outran my son like my son was standing still. So people usually that goes to the Olympics respectfully said, am I the types of my son that has the money, the equipment, and all the help? But that 11-year-old is not going. So we're starting Project 300 to make sure that we are funding every child that has a promise. We make sure they get a salary, a stipend. We make sure they get good nutrition. We make sure that they get mental help. We make sure that they get the best coaching. Because in 2028, we are taking 300 athletes to the Olympics in Los Angeles. We can't just take 100 and something. We are also busy with the music policy and strategy document. We are also busy fixing Maskandi. Maskandi is being followed by a lot of people in this country. But Maskandi is being treated, even by our own radio stations, as some music that must only be played on Heritage Day. It can't be. My yogurt was a big hit when we put him on the DSTV Delicious stage. And I can assure you that Maskandi, Guma, all the music that's not been taken serious, we have budgeted money to make sure that all different genres take their rightful place. The same with sport. Msinga, all the traditional sports, we are making sure. Next month, I'm going to Limpopo to go and attend the Msinga Festival. Boxing, is that boxing? Because we didn't send one boxer to the Olympics, amateur boxer. I'm going to Msinga to go and look for amateur boxers so that we can make sure we send them to the Olympics. Hip-hop, the same. Museums are outdated in this country. Our museums are old, uninteresting, boring. It's like a graveyard. Our museums need a total upgrade. And we are working hard to infuse tech, latest technology, in our museums so that we can attract young people to come to the museums. We are also going to make sure we modernize all our museums, all the museums. Our libraries, we are also in the process of making sure that we bring tech in the libraries. Children, this thing of getting one book, coming back, that's outdated stuff. We did that 30 years ago. We are now going tech, where you go and you get an iPad, like a tablet, that's got 100 books on them. And you can also do your CV on them. You can also, and we're speaking to the cell phone companies to zero rate that they don't need data. But we make sure you can't watch porn and things that will be criticized for. The children can't watch those things. We also must be honest. South Africa loves dancing, we love music. Chris Brown's music was sold out, concert was sold out in 2 hours. Our people are hungry. Our people are hungry for international acts. And don't go any further. Go to the Chris Brown concert. Our people are hungry. And so what we've done, you have Tomorrowland, you have Coachella, you have Burning Man, you have Glastonbury, but there's nothing in Africa on that level of 100,000 plus. We are introducing, as the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture, Africa Raw, which will happen in the Eastern Cape next year, May, where we will bring 10 international acts at one time. It will be a 3-day affair. We will have the African artists playing. We will have overseas artists playing. It will be the biggest music festival over 3 days non-stop. There's no pass out. Once you're in, you are inside. We are going to dance. We are going to stay in tents. There will be levels. There will be nice glamping for the people like Ubo Kenny Kunene, where they got their own shower and toilet, but you're going to have to pay. Then there's the Honke Batupili, where tens of people that just went there for nice music. And then you have the people that work for government like us, that will come with our own tents that's there at the back. But we're going to have the first time, and we're going to mix it with a big 5. It will be at a resort, 3 days. We already spoken to big names that wants to come. So you can listen to music, watch the lions, make sure you don't get eaten, and come back and take pictures, and that's what we're going to do. In conclusion, I would like to end with this. 100 days is not a lot of time in government, because you still have to attend parliament, you have to attend cabinet, you have to attend cabinet committees, you have to attend the portfolio committee. I was called by President Ramaphosa, and he asked me, Minister McKenzie, come see me. And I thought I'm in trouble. And he said, how are you holding up? I said, President, do you want me to give you the answer I'll give to you, or the one I'll give to my friends at home? He says, give me the one of your friends at home. I said, President, I've underestimated the workload of ministers. Number 2, in 2022, I said ministers are getting paid too much money. I withdraw that with immediate effect. And I want to say to you that the GNU is the second chance that we've been given. Do not underestimate what the voters has given us as government. We work very nicely together. You know, John Steenhuisen and myself used to insult each other every election. And we're still going to insult each other. But I remember I was wearing a T-shirt, and I passed one of his rallies, and he said, there goes that green gangster. And we used to insult each other. Last week on Wednesday, the president was busy speaking in cabinet. He was seated next to me. And I see this man is busy under the table. And I get annoyed, like, what are you busy with? And when I put my head back, I saw he's eating biltong. And I said, and he looked at me, and he says, and he put in. And before I ate, for reasons I'm not going to mention here, I wanted him to eat first. And when he ate, I ate, and I think I finished 60% of the biltong. He took 40%. I said, hey, come Nandi to be the Minister of Agriculture. So I want to assure South Africans that the GNU is working. It is, the president went to the USA. He was oversubscribed with meetings. The deputy president went to the UK. He was oversubscribed with meetings. And to everybody that's here, we are going to make sure that South Africa becomes one of the best countries again. And we take our rightful place in. And the ones that say the GNU is not working, they are already divorced and fighting, while we are still intact. We are going to build, and I want to thank my deputy minister, I want to thank the president for finding me worthy. And this is what I've managed to do in 30 days, in 100 days. And watch our next year. We are in fire. Thank you for coming. May God bless you.
Thank you very much, Minister. I think your 100 days does feel like 30 days with the energy that you have. Without wasting any time, Minister did mention that him and the Deputy Minister went to the National School of the Arts and they saved the school. We have 2 kids from the National School of the Arts that are going to give us an entertainment, whilst Minister and DM are catching their breath before we then go to the Q&A for the media. Can we have the School of the Arts kids?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kehomodi Mabunda. I'm the head girl at the NSA, and this is Betu. Please enjoy. As I lay me down, heaven hear me now. I'm lost without a cause. After giving
Thank you very much. Minister, now you see, if you had not saved them, we would have lost this talent.
Thank you. Immediately after this, I just want to say to you that we wanted the lady to sing first because there's one person here, which I was embarrassed when I found out that she is the greatest painter, artist that we have ever produced on this continent. And I am so happy. I didn't think she would come. I was recently introduced to her work. I want you all to Google this name, because who are blessed was, I put her as one of the best in the world. You know, artwork the other day, I'm told by a friend of mine, they sold for 6 million. And she said, no, give the money to the poor. I just love painting. And she's the best artist, and she's 82 years young. And I want to say to you, Mama, we are going to have a special function next month to honor you, to make sure every young person in this country know your work. You have never given up. Your time for your flowers, I'm going to give to you for the last 40, 50 years that you'll still be with us. To my Helen Sibidi, we love you. Can we all, Mama, may I ask Mama just to stand up first so we can see, and we will stand up. We have one of the world's best artists, Ma'am Helen Sibidi. I'm telling you, every wealthy person has a painting of hers and a work in his house. And she came today, and we want to honor you, Mama. Thank you. Can we all rise and honor Ma'am Sibidi? Thank you, Ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We will make sure next month at your function, the president must come and we will all be there. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. Once again, to Abantwana Bebesculela, you really soothed our souls. Thank you very much. Now it's the time for the question and answers, and only the media will be allowed to ask questions. We have the Minister and the Deputy Minister. They were giving us a report on their 100 days in office. So when somebody has their hand up, they need to tell us which media house they're coming from and their names. But please, can we only have media that will ask questions? We've got roving mics that are going, they will go as I point them. For now, I've got 3 hands that I can see. I've got Usisi there with the black Panama. I've got Ubuti, and I've got Utami, and then I've got the last hand. So I've got 4 people for now. We'll come back, we will come back. So we've got 4 people for now. Please tell us your name and the media house that you're from. And I think, can we also just limit it to 2 questions per person, because we don't have enough time. Thank you very much.
Say the people that want to ask questions, the people that came, you can ask me during lunch, I'm still going to be here. So, because if we take all the questions, we'll never eat. So I weighed myself this morning, so I'm very hungry.
Minister has given away my secret, because we were keeping it as an ace up our sleeves to say that we will have some one-on-ones later on. But we will take the hands. At the moment, we have 4 hands. Sisi, at the back. The roving mic.
I have the mic.
But I had not been calling out, but please,
Take this mic also.
Ngiyabonga sanibonani, igama Umbali from City Press Media 24. During the minister's media briefing of EDSTV Delicious, I had said, Uguti, how are we as media going to go back to artists and sports stars and sports professionals to say to them, Uguti, look, Minister McKenzie is not the same as previous ministers who would only make promises and not deliver. how are we as media going to say that to artists and sports practitioners if our own promises that the minister has made to us have not been kept? We, the City Press team, we've been trying to get a one-on-one with the minister since before the days of the Olympics. We were told that this would happen when the minister came back from Olympics. It didn't happen. It took a while. And then we eventually managed to speak to the minister's team at the DSTV Delicious to say, Uguti, can we please request this? Because we understand that the minister is going to be doing a media briefing with everybody, but we wanted to do it differently because we also wanted the interview to be, there's a particular way that we wanted to do the interview, which would not be served if we did it in this kind of a setting. So this has still not happened. And now when the minister says to the public that they must not listen to media practitioners that have not spoken to the minister, they must only listen to the practitioners who have spoken to the minister. Who are those people? Because we have been begging for a meeting with the minister for more than 2 months, but it hasn't happened. So then, I'm trying to understand what it means when you say, don't speak to the people who haven't spoken to me, because there seems to be, if I can go ahead and just call it gatekeeping, where the minister is concerned. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Koti, please introduce yourself, the name, and then the media house.
Good afternoon, everyone. Benjamin Leshoro from Newsroom Africa. Minister, just 2 points from your first 2 points that you addressed, the elephant in the room. You say there was nothing abnormal about your trip to Paris, but is there any way you believe the expenditure could have been reduced in line with your cost-cutting policies since coming into office? And you said you should not be compared to Mama Joy, but super fan expenditure was also normalized in previous administrations. Do you think that's something that's made normal also under your administration in terms of expenditure for the minister could be changed as well? Like I said, in line with your policies of cost cutting. And also, there's pushback from the big unions. You spoke about the private equity deal, potential deal between SA Rugby and Akeli Sports Group. There's pushback from the major unions, the Sharks, Lions, Western Province, and I think the Bulls. Have you heard from them as to what their concerns are with regards to this deal, and where do you stand with regards to that commercial arm, a stake in the Springboks or SA Rugby's flagship brand being sold to that particular company? Thank you.
Please give it to Tammy.
Thank you very much, Tammy from Creative Talks. My question, Minister, there are policies that have been adopted by Parliament, but the department has been very quiet about them. One is the revised white paper that was adopted in 2022. The second one is theatre and dance policy that was adopted, but DSEC has not communicated with the sector in terms of implementation and how to do that. Is there any plans from your side about that? Thanks.
Thank you. The last hand for now is at the back.
Good morning, Minister. Alpha Ramushwana here. I'm a journalist from Eyewitness News in 7. The EFF has mentioned that it refer you to the ethics committee for quote-unquote, the abuse of state funds and state resources. Of course, this is in connection with your trip to France. What do you make of the EFF referring you to the ethics committee? Are you faced by the referral? Secondly, of course, you're reflecting on your first 100 days in office. You know, people have opposing views on your first 100 days in office. Some believe that you're too excited to be a minister. And we've heard some saying that you are answering too much to Twitter. I mean, even this issue of the France issue, you were putting everything out on social media. Firstly, don't you think perhaps that maybe you should put down the phone a little bit and not answer to Twitter as you do answer? And secondly, I also want to know, what do you make of people saying you are too excited? Do you see it as a mistake, or do you think that's exactly how it should be? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Minister?
Can I answer the first one? I think the issue of city press, thank you for the question, but I also think that when I went to Delicious, I made time to speak to yourself while I was there. So it's not that you didn't see me, but seeing that you have questions, the staff in my office, it was my instruction not to see any media. When I was referring that they mustn't listen to media that is not spoken to me, I even went further, the part that you omitted, I said, these are the media you should listen to that's here today. So you are here today, they must listen to you. Then I can assure you that if you want to see me tomorrow, we can make time before this weekend, and I will give you that one-on-one. Thank you very much. The second from newsroom, saying that, I say there's nothing abnormal. I want us to don't do wordplay. There's a ministerial handbook that guides what ministers should and should not do. I have done absolutely nothing. I didn't even know what car awaits me when I got there. I didn't even know who will find me there. I didn't even know how these things work. I'm not the first minister to fly. I'm not the last minister. Show me where have I done wrong, because the ministerial handbook does not guide Mama Joy. It guides me. That's so I've done nothing wrong there, so I will not fall in the trap that the DA is laying for me. You want to prevent me from going outside and go and do my work. I will not do that. I'm going to do the work to the best of my ability. I'm not these ministers that get coward, now must now change. You know, I'll make you an example, and I want to be clear on this issue. They took me to meet with the president and the ministers from countries were at the house in Paris, where we were addressed by the police minister. When we got there, they wanted, on the car, they wanted the sticker that say you should be there. The driver said, no, minister. They say, no, sticker. Marlies had to go and take a sticker out of a bag which he had. He said, go back, put sticker and come. Now imagine if I rocked up, there was an Uber. Let's just be practical. You know, it's nice to talk and say you're wasting money. But the facts of the matter is that when I get there, I'm being told, Minister, you're going to this side of Paris now. Now I must call an Uber. Then everybody else that's there for the Olympics is calling an Uber. And then they cancel my trip. If I miss the engagement, you're still going to fight with me. He went on a joyride. He didn't go to the meeting. You know, there's something that the DM taught me. She taught me something when I became a minister. Is Homuyamashato. Yeah, Homuyamusate. Yeah, what that means, it's one of the most powerful lessons I learned in life. They say when you have the kings, when you see the king's cattle roaming the street, if you don't take that cattle back, you are in trouble. And if you take the cattle back and they caught you with this cattle on the way taking it back, you must say, what are you doing with the king's cattle? The rules is not written by Gayton McKenzie of traveling. I don't sit with a laptop and book a flight. Pre me becoming a minister, I've never booked my own flight. I've got people doing that for me. So I can't come here and plead guilty to something for rules that I've not set up. I can promise you, if all the ministers can give their traveling expenses, you are not saying, hey, you actually saved money by not staying another 19 days. I came back. The president approved my travel. What is the problem of the EFF? The problem with the EFF is because they are not the minister. I am living what they've been fighting for so long. They were insulting me, called me a bandit. Now they must say honorable. It is hurtful, I understand. And that hurt sometimes find expression in nonsensical answers that they talk about me or questions. I do believe that the cost was put up by the demand of cars in the Olympics, the demand of hotels. I went on my own cost cutting. My children went to Dubai September last year. Go check which hotel they stayed at. Go check which hotel my kids stayed at. Go check what we flew going there. Then you'll understand this excitement you're talking about. I'm not excited for perks. This is a downgrade for me. I am not this minister that will be told blue lights excite me. When we got new cars as a minister, and you guys will make accusations, but you won't be answered. When you put me in a BMW or in a Mercedes-Benz, I jumped at the union buildings or where I got my car. I jumped out of a more expensive personal car to go into the government car. So I can't be excited. I'm here because this is a labor of love for me. That's what excites me, that I can change people's lives. It's true, I'm excited to be a minister because I've got the power now. I fought. I walked in the rain. People walked in the snow, in the storms for me to be a minister. The PA people fought very hard for me to be there. I'm excited. Imagine the people that was voting for me, that walked so that their lives can become better, and then when they got the opportunity to go into the GNU, the leader said, Harifuni GNU. No, I can't do that to people. People wanted me to get power. I now have power to change lives. So this thing of exciting, I want to kill it right here. I have never booked my own flights. I have people booking my flights. This thing of ministers, I have to now behave within the ministerial handbook. I asked the ADG, what is the ministerial handbook saying? She says, you can't do that. I was flying to Cape Town, my first flight. I was sitting in economy class because the ADG told me the ministerial handbook wants me to fly economy class. And I found other ministers sitting in business class. And I went to peace. I said, why are me and you sitting in economy class? The other ministers sat there. She said, no, it is their miles. They've been ministers for long, so they accumulated miles, and they're using their miles. I said, oh, okay. So I'm not excited, number one, for these things that they think is perks, staying in a hotel. It's my first time being abroad, staying in a hotel that's not 5-star. I'm not excited for those things. I'm not, even this car they got me, that Mercedes, I will never drive that car here at home in my own life. So I'm not excited for those. Number two, and lastly, the issue where they say they took me to the ethics committee, it's their right. They can take me wherever they want to take me. It's their right. EFF needs to be relevant. And Gayton McKenzie is now the most relevant name at the moment in this country. If they talk about Malema, people don't listen, so they have to talk about Gayton and Malema so he can get the shine that I'm experiencing now. That's the truth. They talk Gayton, they are Gayton crazy. They're obsessed with me. And I enjoy that because I'm a minister. So, in the last question of the white paper, also, I'm coming to newsroom's question. The issue of the pushback from the unions. My job as the minister is to listen to people. The reason why I asked for a postponement, I didn't demand a postponement. I asked for a postponement, which was granted, was to listen to what the unions are complaining about. Before December, I will be able to answer this question, to say what is it the unions are complaining about. Your question, what do I think of the deal? I can tell you, if I had to do the deal, the rugby deal myself, I would have pushed for more terms from our side. I would have done a different deal, but we are different. I don't know, I'm not a rugby administrator. So, number one of your question, I'm going to hear what the complaints are. Number two of your questions, I just think that we can push to get more. All Blacks did the same deal, and they got more money. So I think that actually maybe they must push them for more money. But, you know, I'm just glad that there's foreign direct investment in the country also. That people believe in our country to invest 1.3 billion. But now, let's hear what the unions say, and let's implement. For the person that says I must put my phone down, let me answer you very nicely. Of 702. Before I was a minister, we have in the PA, which is called Kom Op. Every PA member knows what it is. It is me speaking. You want me to put my phone down so you can lie about me. Now I'm on my phone so people can hear firsthand. The Daily Maverick wrote an article and say I walk around carrying a gun. I don't have a gun. I'm not allowed to carry a gun. Now I can answer and say you talk nonsense. They say I was having a joyride. It is my phone that makes me defend myself. If the president called me today and say, put your phone down or you're no longer a minister, I will not put my phone down. I will resign and thank him for the opportunity, because I'm not going to be a forever minister. I'm not going to make this post change me. I still want to be G that people know out there. This thing will not make me mad. I don't take a salary. In fact, today, I got a salary. I said I'm going to buy 100 tickets. How many tickets I said, Bakang? 200 tickets. Now, when I look at my salary, I think Makatsi is such a great artist. I am now, tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, I'm going to give tickets away because I'm no longer buying 200 tickets for the Makatsi concert. I'm now buying 600 tickets for Makatsi's concert, 9 o'clock on my phone. Even if you want a ticket, you check me there on my phone. I'm going to give thing. Then, because people lie. They lie about you. And Twitter has given me opportunity to refute the lies. The people that believe in me, when there's a story about me, you know what they say? Let's wait for the minister to answer. Then we will know the truth. I will never put my phone down. And you mentioned that people say I'm too excited. You know my first job in life, honest job, let me put it that way. My first honest job in life was cleaning the toilets in prison. That was my first job. That was the first honest job I got, to clean the toilets in prison and the corridor of the executive. Ask everyone, I see one or two people here that come from jail. Ask them, there's Houston and them. I would sing there in the corridor. I would be friendly. I'll be making jokes. Those people there, they would be like, why are you always in such a good mood? It's not a ministerial post that makes me happy. I am naturally not a miserable person. I'm a happy person, not because of the job. I am naturally happy. I'm the leader of the PA. I'm happy. Ask the people. Last night I was talking to people. We make jokes. Ask my guys that has been guarding me. We make jokes all the time. When the judge was swearing me in with Zondo, I was making jokes. This is who I am. I am happy to be alive, not to be a minister. Do you know my kids has asked me to resign? Because they say, we're so tired. Why don't you just leave this ministerial thing? We always see you in the news. So I'm not excited for the minister's post. I'm excited for being able to serve South Africans. That's what I'm excited for. And I will be reshuffled one day. I'm not those people that think I will not be reshuffled. And when I get reshuffled, you will still find me in the street being happy. If I can be happy in a prison cell, I was the joker in jail. If I can be happy in a prison cell, how can I be set in cabinet? The white paper, you know, we are busy with negotiations with the lottery and everybody to help the arts more substantively, to talk to corporates. We have just spoken, we are talking to R&B Bank. We are talking to different people behind the scenes. We can't really talk much about that because the negotiations are still ongoing. And we are talking to MultiChoice. We are talking to them to say, how can you help us? MultiChoice came back and said, this is how we can uplift the creatives. But those discussions are still ongoing. The white paper, as I've mentioned here, we are going through all of the things because there's some things there, take it from a creative, take it from a best-selling author that I just think is exploitation. How some of these things were agreed upon. Now, I don't want to bury artists with no money. I just want to go and pay my respects at the funeral, not go and pay for the funeral. So, I promise you, very soon, with all the sectors, we are going to sit with them and ask them, can we change here, can we change here, can we change here? Artists are one part of the conversation. We, the people that is being put in charge of arts in this country, is the second part of the conversation. A third part of the conversation is the corporates. A fourth part of the conversation are the people that we are performing for. So you can't just have one view, the minister's view. We must listen to all the views. So the different papers that are there, I don't want to sign a paper which I've not read. Because it will happen under my watch. Imagine if the papers get signed and there's something that's exploitive to artists, how will I defend something while I'm the minister? Like the one of fair use. I'm fighting that thing, it's in the papers that people want me to sign. I will never agree to fair use, because fair use say you can't set a price to your music. You can't set a price to your art. We can't have that. So all I'm asking is for a little bit more patience. As you can see, the 100 days, we were very busy, but we are going to sort it out. We are serious about this job. We are excited to deliver to. We have higher ambitions, some of us. Imagine if we can't even run this department. Tomorrow, how can we say, no, we want to go higher than being a minister? We can't. So I want to be successful in this department. I want to deliver. Because people are looking at me more than they look at any other minister. So I can't be setting my foot wrong. I need to check and recheck. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister. We'll take another round of hands. Can I ask that we stop at 15:15 if Minister and DM are allowing us so that we can go for lunch? Minister did promise that he is available after this so he can talk to the media. So I'll start Ngawe Putwe first, and then the three hands in the front. And then the last hand. So this time we're taking 6 hands, and that will be it, because we have to be done by 15:15, and Minister and DM will be available after this.
Good afternoon, Shannon Merricks, Kasi Broadcasting Africa, all protocol observed. Minister, technically, the president always said that the ANC made a good move to start the GNU. So for me, I want to say you did a good move to be a minister, right? So that was a good tactical move. Kenny Kunene is in City of Joburg. You have a MMC in Gauteng. So technically, you've done the right moves. However, your department has failed, one, to communicate with the media. When we want interviews, it's not just most of us have the same problem, and we talk because we are colleagues. To get interviews with you is a problem. Secondly, you know, your department fell in a trap. You're 100 days in the department. Your officials are more than 100 days in the department. They have failed. This Paris issue is not an issue. The Rand-Dollar-Naira exchange, The department should have answered it that way. In South Africa, let's say it's R1 million. In euros, it's 500,000 euros. In Naira, you've spent 9 billion. Yeah, no, Naira. Naira, it's 9 billion. So your department has failed to use the rand-dollar exchange to answer, and the media capitalize on that, say no, but you didn't stay in Sandton and you paid that amount. You were overseas and so on. The second part, your department had the Boss Barat where they called all media people and all that, entertainment people and all that. We came there the second day by force. Here's the thing, you are not the president of the colours. But in that room, there was not even 2 colours. There's more colours in this room today than in that room of artists, media, and so on, which is something your department failed because they send out those invites. Thirdly, and last, I'll come back for gossip later. The Khoisan, you had a meeting with the Khoisan not as a PAR president, as a minister. Now the ministerial handbook says when a minister calls a meeting, there must be food, there must be accommodation, there must be transport. The department didn't provide that for the Khoisans, and you are a minister. So they failed because now it looks like they have discrimination against the Khoisans. All ministers, we attend this event, you were with us at Beachwood Hotel, there's food and all that. Why did the Khoisan not get food, transport, catering for that meeting? Let me end by this. There is a major issue. You are saying the right things, but you are talking of multi-choice, super beds, better way. You're all talking of white monopoly capitalists. But there is a fight in the media industry and the entertainment industry for black owners to get into the space, like the school sports is a good initiative. But now when you give it to MultiChoice and DSTV, we're sitting thinking, but they have PSL, they have rugby. So why couldn't you look at small black-owned media houses on that? Thank you. My airtime is done.
Can we have the 3 hands in the front?
Yeah, thank you so much. My name is Hawalo Magolero from UFM. Minister, congratulations on your appointment. I see you like the job. I would imagine it's a fantastic position. I want to find out before proceeding, because this is something that makes me and other colleagues uncomfortable, that going forward, are we going to be having a squad of cheerleaders in every press briefing of the department like this, because it's not consistent with how we deal with government as media. I shouldn't have people that are pleased or not pleased with my questions. It's simply not comfortable. And then, Minister, these prison stories, are we ever going to see an end to them? There's a section of society. Can I proceed peacefully? Yeah, please. Yes, there's a section of society that really disapproves of them, and I'll explain why. They are saying that the minister seems to come across as suggesting that there's no credentials to him. He's only known for being a jailbird. It can send a wrong message in a country where we already have serious levels of crime, that young men could be misled into believing that they need to be initiated and in prison in order to earn their strides in society. Is that still going to be the approach going forward? Thank you.
Please pass the mic. 2 questions per person, please. Name and media house.
All right, thank you very much. My name is Sisanda Mbolekwa from the Sunday Times. 2 questions for you, Minister, regarding the controversial Olympics trip that has gained a lot of traction and questions around it. We've noticed that there are material discrepancies in the communication that you've posted. Firstly, the letter that you've written to the department seeking clarity around the cost breakdown is dated the 15th of October 2024, while the response from the department is dated 5 days before that, which is the 10th of October. So was this human error? Please, can you kindly explain that discrepancy? Secondly, when the Deputy Minister was presenting, she spoke of plans to upgrade and refurbish dilapidated sports infrastructure that have been neglected over the years. We've come to understand that in certain cases, there are tenders that have been issued out to service providers to build or fix these sports facilities across the country. Now, before the department spends more money, will there be a fact-finding mission and investigation of sorts to figure out or follow the money trail, rather, to find out who are these service providers that have been tasked with these projects but have not been delivered? And will we be seeing maybe the department pursuing criminal charges against this corruption that has seemingly been done? Thank you very much.
And goes to Sanda next.
Okay, thank you very much, Program Director. My name is Good Hope Ledwaba. I'm from Westside FM in the West Rand. Minister and Deputy Minister, thank you very much for the 100 days, for your contribution. Well, my question will sound more even of a comment. Our radio station happens to be one of the community radios that support spinning. We've been promoting spinning. We have an annual event that we've been hosting for the past 8 years. The event is called the Freedom Day Spin Fest. It happens every year on the 27th of April. Minister, we've been following your journey, especially throughout the spinning fraternity, you formalizing, and we want to thank you for taking, a stand and making sure that a proudly South African sport, it's formalized, it gets sponsors. We appreciate you and we respect you for that. But there's just something that we want to highlight, because we've been following all your journeys, all the events that have been hosted, others, in your name, obviously honoring your contribution, and also the gala dinner that took place in Cape Town. I want to understand, why is there no inclusion of other provinces within? Because we feel that, and I don't like using this word, but you'll excuse me for using this, because that's what, that's how it seems, to say, is this thing for the colored community only, or is it for everyone? Because growing up in the spinning fraternity, we grew up, colored, black, Indians, even whites, we grew up as one. And we feel that, Minister, as much as we love the work that you are doing in our industry, kindly include everyone to be included. All provinces do normal procedures of, doing consultation, so that everyone becomes included. And lastly, I'm part of the National Community Radio Forum. And Minister, we from the community media fraternity, we would be very, very much happy, as much as I heard you talking about the policy on copyright of musicians. We've got serious challenges. We are community media sector. We are the one developing artists, making sure that artists get more airtime from the community media sector. And there are serious challenges that, as a community media fraternity, would want to engage with your department, because we believe that you can help resolve issues, especially with your SAMRO and your, I forgot the other one, that collects royalties. We would want to engage the minister, the department, and to resolve issues around it. Thank you.
Thank you. The last two hands, one at that one at the back, and then the other one right at the back, and that will be those will be the last two hands. He's got the mic already at the back.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, sorry.
Thanks, Simasa. Ashwanim Timkulu, Minister from ENCA. Maybe the first question is, in terms of your involvement with all the different federations and also with the individual athletes, do you have a benchmark in terms of when for sport, when you get involved in an issue, because we saw you get involved, for example, with Lukolo when he didn't go to the Paris Olympics, but there was an athlete for the Paris Paralympics who didn't get picked, and he felt he needed to get picked. And we've seen issues with Swimming SA and some of their swimmers as well. So, and we've seen you sort of get involved in some of these things. So is there, and it seems a little bit ad hoc, so is there sort of a benchmark where you get involved, and do you not run the risk of just sort of being all over the place, really, in terms of when you do and don't get involved in sort of these sporting disputes? Also, these disputes happen a lot, so that's why I'm asking, is there a benchmark? Would you just sort of get involved as and when it does come up? And then the other question is, I know you signed the school sport MOU with the Department of Basic Education. There's been an MOU that's been signed before. School sport has been a conversation that's been going on. We've done the court handovers, we've done the kit handovers, we've done all of these sorts of things. But if you've had this MOU, if there was an MOU in 2018 between the former ministers, if other ministers have been speaking about this thing, clearly there's something that's gone missing, and maybe an admission on your part that something is going wrong and has gone wrong in the past. So what exactly is so different about what you've signed now, and what are the timelines so that we're not here in 2027 or 2028 with new ministers and they are saying, oh, look at us, we're signing a new MOU. We've been here before.
Thank you very much, Hloni. The last hand, right at the back.
Okay, it's Mahudi Molapo from SABC News. Minister, firstly, I would like to say we do see your effort and we are very impressive of the work that you've done so far. And I still remember how it was watching a rugby match on SABC and what it has done to the people back at home. Just out of curiosity and also a follow-up question, I remember the last time we were at Netball SA, we were with the president of Netball, Cecilia Mulukwani, and she did mention that the 2 million that they get from the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, it's like a drop in the ocean. And also, judging from the sponsorship that they do get, when you compare, it's not enough. And she also mentioned the netball court not being built in, I think it was in Limpopo, I stand to be corrected. Just a follow-up question of any developments on that and going forward, how that is going to be, done.
Thank you very much. I think I will give Minister Ndiema an opportunity to answer. As I've said that this is the last round, but Minister Ndiema have promised that they are going to be here. So after lunch, we still have an opportunity to talk to them. Minister Ndiema.
Well, thank you. The question that was being asked about the issue of the letter and the date, I'll give the person that I wrote to. She sat next to me, ADG Cynthia Kubala.
Thank you, Minister, and good afternoon to everyone. The Minister wrote to us yesterday, on the 16th of October. We responded on the same day. The 10th at the bottom of the letter was a typo, but if you look at the signature date in the letter, it does reflect when the letter was actually compiled and forwarded and responded to.
Thank you very much. And then I'll give over to the Deputy Minister.
Thank you very much, Minister. Thank you very much, Sisanda. A very important question indeed. Just to mention that a few days ago, I had a meeting with the sports infrastructure and facilities management, and we were preparing for the ceremony in Polokwane for sports facilities that were built in 2002 to be handed over. And there was a request of almost 500,000 to do some refurbishment and fix few broken things that were there. But when I looked at the pictures, the infrastructure looked quite very well. And the only thing that needed to be done there was just to clean the facility. And I refused that we should refurbish any facility that was built in the last 5 years. And we reflected on the policy. And the policy of the department says that a facility will have 15 years warranty unless there is a poor workman's problems that are there. So if there's no poor workmanship, there is no way that we can go back and spend money. Instead, the money that was eyed for that project, it is now going to Ulundi, where there is no sporting facilities at all for a community that is more than 8,000 in population, Minister, and only one high school that is in that community. So we won't be fixing. Communities must look after the facilities. After 15 years, that is when we can come and do some upgrades. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to go quickly through the answers. The one where they say the officials failed to talk about Naira and euros. The question was not asked to the officials. It was asked by the minister. If the officials answered, they would have told them, we didn't ask you. They asked me, I asked the officials. This is the lady next to me I wrote the letter to. She's just given an explanation. I saw also the typo, but then I went to the stamp and I saw. So there was no failure. If I'm the minister, I must account. So when they ask me a question, I must account. Then the issue that you talk about, not being colours, that's not entirely correct. Because in Mitchell's Plain, I remember, there's a group of musicians that was flown down. Because I know, because I was with them in the flight. I think it was like 12 of them. Some even from the Mitchell's Plain Music Academy. So maybe where you were standing outside, you just saw 2 colours, but there was really more colours there than 2. Then the issue where you say we didn't give food transport to the Khoisans for the meeting. That's also not correct because the meeting is only on Saturday, which is this Saturday coming. And I know I signed off on the transport, I signed off on the food, I signed off on that. So that meeting has not happened yet. It's still going to happen. And the last one, I don't subscribe to the thinking, the Bedways and the multi-choices. They give us money for sports development. Now you want me to go and take money from emerging black companies. They don't even sometimes have money to cover their overheads. So why must I now go and burden them? They are struggling. I must ask them for money. I go to the corporates that are established and white monopoly capital and those, that's not how my thinking works. I am myself a capitalist with a social outlook on life. So we go to people that give us money. The question here to say, will there always be cheerleaders present? Today is not a normal press conference. It's a press conference where I come and account to the South African nation and to the people that put my name forward to become a minister. So I must account to them. So it will not always be cheerleaders. Then the second question you also ask about the jailbird, don't I have other credentials? You particularly said in meetings of EFF, press conferences, why didn't you ask them why they keep on referring to me as a jailbird? So you want me to be silent while you are also silent like you? You never asked me. You sit there. You must ask them, why do you keep on referring? Once they say a bandit, and I say nothing, which means I agree to the label. So you must start that question. Then you say, people will look at it, my brother, we don't come from the same communities. You see, in my community, gangsterism is rife. In my community, tomorrow, more than 10 people are going to die because of gang wars. And they think, in my communities, gangsters are being idolized. In my communities, a young kid grow up and he wants to be a gangster. In my community, a child that is in conflict with the law at the age of 10 think he doesn't have a future. And he needs a Gayton McKenzie, that has been in conflict with the law to see that there's another way. Making one mistake, you're not condemned to the dustbin of being a gangster for the rest of your life. In prison, families of prisoners are using my name when they tell their children to change, to say, look at Gayton McKenzie. You can turn your life around. I can't change my past, but I can change my future. And me mentioning I was in jail, and I'm not proud of it, but I want to show people that you can make a mistake and become better. You don't need to remain who you used to be. And if I go to Eldos, to Mitchell's Plain, to Galvandale, in our communities, people see me there and they're happy, and they see me as that it is possible that you can change your life. So I don't mention jail because I like being referred to coming from jail. That label has cost me a lot, but I've got a duty to say, you can change your life. You can become better. Right. Then the issue of the ENCA's question about where does it stop? You see, once you ask us for money, SAFA asks us for money, SARO asks us for money, Swimming South Africa asks us for money. I will never be a minister that's not allowed to speak where I give you money, because that money belongs to the public. So if they don't want money from us, if they don't want us to talk, they must not take our money, because we are responsible to spend the money of the state wisely. Now, when we give you money, we call you, and our interference will be, we'll stop the money. But we have developed a relationship where we are being listened to, like with Colo Adams. I just thought that he needs to be at the Olympics. And we said we will pay for him. But he was the one at the end that said he's not going there if he doesn't run. I didn't have the power to make him run, but the power for him to go there and be part of the experience. So there is where our power stops. We have enough trust in some of the federations to know that they will take sports to a greater heights. But we are not going to be those people that see wrong things, like let's take VAR. South Africa needs VAR. We are not a 10th world country, we are the global south. And as we are the global south, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, they all have VAR. How come we don't have VAR, but we run the best league in Africa? Do you want our stadiums to be burned down by the supporters tomorrow? Do you want supporters to break the chairs there? Go and see Orlando Stadium today. There's a problem with chairs. They need new chairs. I mentioned that so that you must know that we must go with times. We mustn't be too far behind the European countries that has VAR. And we have a role to play as government in that one. So yeah, we do run the risk to not be interfering in too much into the stuff, but we know where to draw the line. We ask if they don't want to, we then don't give them money anymore. But if they listen to us, we continue to give them money. Then the MOU that is gathering dust. During my speech here, I said, this MOU will not gather dust. There's been previous MOU signed. There's been previous MOU signed, but this one will not gather dust. I can already tell you that Super Sport and SABC is now going to show school sport on the channels. That is a first. It is derived from the MOU between myself and the Department of Basic Education. It is a GNU initiative. It is the Minister of Minister Soli, it is Minister Khwarube, it's Minister McKenzie. All three of us is responsible now that school sport is going to be shown on SABC and Super Sport. Then the issue of Netball SA. Netball SA is right. That's too little money. They need more money. Because netball is a sport that is very important. And I agree with the president of Netball SA. We have to do better, and we are going to do better. 2 million is not enough for Netball SA. Then the issue of the lack of the spinning that we spoke about. You know, my brother, it's hard to be a minister. In one press conference, I'm being accused that there's no colors. And the next question, there's too many colors. So I can't win. My job is to keep the balance. There's one spinner that is being considered an athlete by Red Bull. He gets paid what Sia Kolisi and them are being paid. Because Red Bull, and it's not a colored spinner. It is Sam. Sam is not a colored. But he is the #1 spinner in this country at the moment that gets paid to spin by a corporate company. I have given 1 million rand 2 months ago for spinning out of my pocket. And they said, what do you want to see? I said, I want to see all provinces being part of spinning. That's all I wanted. I didn't want to get involved. I said, I'm giving you the money, but I want to see all provinces being involved. I want you guys to have 9 provinces. The 100,000 will be for your hotel stay and your petrol. They've done that in 7 provinces so far. Never have I seen white people being excluded or black people being excluded. If you know of any case, please let me know so I can immediately withdraw my money, because my money must not bring racism. This is not a racist sport. And then I want to thank you for the praise that you've given to myself and the DM. I also would like to say that the last issue that was spoken about here is about SEMRO. We are busy with that. We are busy with SEMRO. We are busy with all those things. And to everybody, you know, we are also still learning what is it people want us to do, what bothers the South African public. And we'll always answer your questions as the media. I will be more available. There was no time. If I can tell you, I've missed 3 birthdays of my kids, because since I'm being a minister, I tell you the workload is insane. I've never slept more than 5 hours. We work day and night, but we will make sure, because the media is very important, that people need to know. I will be accessible. Even now, if you want me, I will remain behind and we can talk. And to the people that came, I want to say thank you. For the people of my party that came, I want to thank you also. I specifically want to thank the people of Motorsport. I saw you brought the car outside. I was hoping it's a gift. I'm just joking. And I want to thank the Chief of Staff, Bakangli Tuku, and the team in my office. The DM staff, I want to thank them. Bongi and them. But most importantly, I also want to thank the people of DSEC. I want to thank everyone. Because you guys never get the praise. We get all the praise. You guys are working so hard. I've inherited, the team has inherited the best team ever. And because I'm hungry, you're hungry, thank you very much. Let's go have something to eat. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The lunch is going to be served where we were having tea in the morning downstairs. And then I think we'll give Minister DM about 30 minutes for them to eat. And then Umadi and Upateka and Tutuzeli were taking the requests from the media that wants one-on-ones. So if you could just go back to them, and then we'll deal with the one-on-ones after our Minister DM. Thank you very much. Lunch is downstairs.